everybody, welcome to the Pagan Perspective. My name is Angel and I'm your Wednesday host, and this week we are talking about God the Father. The submission by Rose Kicking is long, so I will put it down below. But it basically comes, it's a really interesting lead-in, so if you get a chance to read it, please do. But it leads into two questions. Do you think the Father God has an important place in paganism? And do you think it is possible to see him, the more sensitive, nurturing aspects of fatherhood rather than just the distant consort of the mother or the oppressive father of Christianity? Now, let me say this. My particular opinion is based on my experience and nothing else. In my life, even though my mother was not a rigid Christian at the time when I was growing up, nor was my father, society and my friends around me, which is part of society, now that I think about it, kind of drill into your brain the basics of Christianity. You know, heaven, hell, devil, sin, and on and on and on. So you get the basics even if you don't get to go to church. And this is where it gets a little dicey with some people. In our society, it's also not it's not as progressive as I would hope it would be in 2016, yet way more progressive than other countries when it comes to women, their rights, and their pay, their opinion. And these things, I think, have all been exacerbated by mainstream religions whose texts demean women and make them subservient to men. So when you grow up as a girl or woman, grow up to be a woman, and you go through life with that little tiny voice constantly out there, you know, you hear it loud. It gets louder as you get older. And for me, when I found the goddess, I felt very connected because this is a woman, this is the feminine power that I've been missing. I didn't feel a need to deal with the God at all because I had already gotten enough of it. And so even subconsciously, I believe, I just kind of tuned the God out. I think consciously now I try to include him more, but he's not a huge part of my practice. That could be because of my past experience, or it could be just that, you know, I like working with goddesses. Now, do I think the God has an important place in paganism? Absolutely, I do. We need that balance with the mother. We need light and dark. We need day and night. We need masculine and feminine. We need those balances in order to, they're checks and balances for us, and you can't have one without the other. So absolutely, I think he's important. However, I think it determines on each individual. As a blanket paganism, yes, the Father God is important. Individually, maybe not so much. Doesn't mean he's not important. It just means he's not as important to that person. It's no different as me saying Morgan is my goddess. But does that mean that Athena's not important? Absolutely not. She's just not. I'm not working with her. So that's one thing. The other thing is, do you think it's possible to see him with more positive, nurturing aspects of fatherhood rather than the distant consort of the mother or the oppressive Christian father? That's tough because if you're like me, the Christian father has kind of just been drilled in your mind. I work with Thoth occasionally, and he's not a very aggressive god. He's kind of chill, at least my connection with him. So I think that it, again, would depend on everybody's individual connections. But as a whole, I think Father God is important to paganism. To what extent would be up to the individual, I think. Anyways, that's it for me. I have to run. I got tons of homework, so thank you so much for watching, and everybody have a great rest of the week. I will see you after next week, because next week is sub week, I believe. Sub week, I think. Until then, blessed week. Bye!